Welcome to Industry Insights Special Edition on World Food Safety Day 2021. In this episode, I'll be talking to the Recall InfoLink team about food safety. Hello and welcome to this episode of Industry Insights. Today, since it's World Food Safety Day, we're having a little bit of a different approach on food safety and talking about the whole topic by inviting the team of Recall InfoLink or parts of the team to have a conversation with me, kind of what brought them here and why they are so engaged in this whole topic. But before we have a conversation and before we get started, let me introduce the team to you. So let me introduce Mana Morales. She's our communication coordinator and did a great job on rebranding and working on our new logo. Also, she's responsible for our customer communication. Next, there is Ike Sweezy. He's our senior vice president and head of customer support. Not only is he there for our clients, but also for our clients' customers and supports them 24/7. And then there's Roger Hancock, our founder and CEO of Recall InfoLink. He brings a huge experience in the food safety world to the team. And actually, he's the mastermind behind the whole system. I'm Recall InfoLink's Global Development Manager. I'm raising the awareness in Europe. And now let's get started with our conversation. And I think the first approach is, so where do you come from in regards of food safety? What brought you here and what is your background? And maybe you have also a personal experience that you can share with us that supported your decision. Roger, would you like to start?
Sure, happy to start. Thank you, Stephanie. And thanks for pulling this call together, this discussion. I think it's worthwhile. I got into food safety kind of along the way of a journey, training in human development and then public health and then regulatory work for government agencies. And all of a sudden I found myself at a retailer managing food safety and quality across the country. And then one next step got me to this recall space. It's been a great path that's gotten me here, really interesting. And the best part about it is the great people that I get to work with.
Well, thank you.
Ike and Mana and Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great background that you're having. And as I said before, you are the mastermind and we all rely on that. And per definition, of course, Recall InfoLink is an IT company. But what we really are is we are really recall experts. And that's how we communicate with our clients, because we support them on their daily work in the recall space. And we're here for them to help them make their recalls faster and easier. And that kind of leads me to Ike, because he's the one who is he's our bridge to our client base. And so, Ike, do you want to say something about that?
Oh, sure. I think that almost everybody is interested in food safety. So when people ask me what I do, and I say I'm in computers and technological solutions in the food safety space, well, they say, well, of course I'm interested in food safety. Almost everybody pays attention to that nowadays. And for me, I love developing systems and processes and things like that. So when I came on with Recall InfoLink, that was before the software was even complete. We had a demonstratable model, but we needed to be able to present it to customers. And so right after I came on is when we got our first customer. So Roger was really proud of them. And then rapidly we got a second, and then we moved on from there. So, and I helped with the processes of communicating, like Stephanie said, to clients and to customers. So, but personally, I have a grandson who's got a peanut allergy, and that's probably the most recognizable one that just about everybody understands. So he's almost died twice because of undeclared peanuts in food. So there's a personal aspect as well. So I pay close attention to that and to our processes.
Yeah, I think everyone has a personal reason also on top of the professional reason. And if I may add mine here, because it just fits into the allergy of your grandson, I had a food poisoning being on my honeymoon, and that was pretty uncomfortable back then. I did not, of course, or fortunately, I did not die of that, but it was, yeah, a huge bother, especially being on a honeymoon. And so that kind of, is my background, my personal background, why I'm so very much into food safety. And also I have 3 kids. And of course, as a mom, you want to make sure your kids get healthy food and safe food. And that's also something that motivates me. Manna, what about you?
Yeah, this is great. This is just making me think how food touches everybody. And Ike, what you said really stood out to me, that everyone's interested in food safety because everyone has experience with food. It's something that we can't really avoid. And so though my personal background has less to do with the food safety industry, and I come in with communication background in other areas, it has been really, I think, meaningful for me to apply that experience in this space and realize the importance of really clear, timely, and impactful communication in the food safety space, just because it does touch so many people. We're talking not just within the industry, but all the consumers that the food safety industry serves. Everyone is impacted when a recall event occurs. So it's not something that anyone can really avoid. And whether it's a food poisoning experience or a family member who has an allergy, all of us are connected in this space. And I think that's been really apparent to me in my work, that we can't avoid how connected we are, and that just places even more importance on doing our jobs well.
Mm-hmm. And in the end, as I keep saying, we are all consumers, and so we of course want to make sure that the food we get to buy and in the end get to eat, and our families and friends get to eat, is safe food, and not just that is our huge motivator to protect ourselves and family and friends. That's
exactly
that's
right.
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that's a huge motivation, of course. And there is a very, I really like that quote, and I've heard that several times at the GFSI conference this year. It says, if it's not safe, it's not food. And I think we can all really relate to that. And that is really a great quote, in my opinion. Okay. So then what would you say, each one of you individually, currently, there are so many things going on in the IT world, but also in the grand scheme of the world, how we're all moving closer together, the pandemic. There's so much happening, consumer needs, requirements, laws. So what do you think is currently one of the developments or innovations that you would recommend to companies in regards of being even more into food safety and food quality? Is there anything that you that comes to mind when thinking in that direction? Ike, maybe you?
Yeah, I'd like to jump in and say, rather than starting off currently, I'd like to go back to the founding of Recall InfoLink and emphasize kind of our byline, which is recalls faster and easier. Really, before this technological solution came on, recalls were done onesie-twosies, and they're done manually in telephone calls and an individual email and all that, and then manual collating of it. And Roger and the developers early on said, let's make it faster and easier so that we can get actions done quickly. And that's been the guiding principle of Recall InfoLink. So I like to take it back to that, and Roger can give more details, but we get it out quickly with the email and the phone calls and the fax and the text message. And Recall InfoLink is really the first to do that, and we do it very effectively. So going back to the beginning, 12, 13 years ago, that foundation is still there. And then we're still innovating with current developments, which is where Stephanie's going next.
Mm-hmm. Roger, what is your
Actually, yeah, kind of just to follow on that, I think if you're in the food business and you pay attention to the word innovation, you're going to stay on the leading edge, because innovation is touching everything. It's touching new product development. It's touching the way inspections are done. There's virtual technology. There's online access. There's 3D printing. Just the level of innovation across the food business is incredible, whether it's from an inspection point of view, from a marketing point of view, from a development point of view. And all of those things impact food safety in some way or another, because they impact shelf life, they impact food quality, they impact packaging, they impact labeling, they impact the product itself. And so just having a mind for innovation is going to play a huge role in every part of the food business, I think, is where we can have our mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are so many inventions happening, actually. I just listened into a presentation from a lady who was focusing very much on sustainability, and not only in regards of the food, but also of the packaging. And what you just said, Roger, reminded me of that, how important that is to pay attention to sustainability and protecting the earth, really, and for next generations to come. And that is also something that is something we need to be aware of and take into consideration. Yeah, Manna, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually love that, Stephanie, because in my mind, I was thinking about how we have technological innovations is often where our minds go, or more tangible inventions, but those always come from a place of values and what we value. So valuing sustainability, my first thought when you asked this question was high value I see on transparency and kind of this shift in consumer sentiment where there's more demand than ever for having really clear, open, honest communication about food safety and food safety issues. That in fact, the more information that you give, and of course there's ways to give it well, the more information you give, the more you build that trust with consumers. And so I think just like noticing that trend, and then also taking advantage of the ways that we're able to make that communication happen, that there's more avenues than ever for having really quick communication of important information directly into the hands of the consumer. And I mean, to anybody who needs that people can know instantly what's happening on the other side of the world, that there's very little limitation now for getting the information that you need. And so I think that goes hand in hand with the demand for that as well. So I'm seeing that shift, and I'm seeing that, like I said, that coming along with these values, and then that's driving the kind of the innovations moving out from there to make that happen.
Absolutely. And looking at the title and the reason why we're here, I mean, it's World Food Safety Day. So, I mean, we're global, and it concerns all of us, no matter where we're based. And borders are, almost down, and food travels wherever, we send it, and people have access to food everywhere in the world. Exotic food, or just food that's been manufactured elsewhere, but we want to make sure that the quality has the same standard no matter where we purchase food, no matter where we get it from. The level of quality and the level of safety needs to be very high. And as I talked with someone else about food safety, the lady said to me, well, there is no competition, and the bar, needs to be risen, and we need to all be aware, and we need to all work together and have that goal as to protect the consumer and make sure food is safe and the quality is high. And that, I think, is something that we all have to keep in the back of our minds on our daily work that we're doing. May it be as a manufacturer, as a retailer, as a distributor, doesn't really matter who you are in food safety. That is something that should be on your mind all the time, that you protect in the end yourself, because we are all consumers, as I said before. And so I think, there is nothing else much more to say, really, and the time is running out, and I'm really happy that you.
Let me just add real quickly.
Sure.
I think that transparency and global supply chain create a whole space in food safety that's just on the front edge of being touched.
Mm-hmm.
Transparent cold chain management, transparent food traceability, transparent storage. All of these things have a level in the past where they kind of are out of sight, out of mind. With today's technology, nothing has to be out of sight, which means it doesn't have to be out of mind either. And so to the extent that we can bring this visibility to our global supply chains, everybody's going to win, like you're saying, Stephanie. Not only the shopper who's picking up something on their way home from work, but all of us are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Yes,
I'd like to bring up one more thing before Stephanie closes this out also, and that is the regulatory environment that everybody is becoming aware of. And so documentation with regulatory, if you didn't document it, it didn't happen to them. And that means it needs to be communicated. So another aspect of food safety is the documentation of that. Absolutely. And so I'd like to pull it back to our software and to many of the documentation. It's just essential to communicate that, yeah, this food really is safe and it's been documented that way. Yeah. And the recalls have been documented.
Yeah, can be proven. Exactly. I think this is a topic that we could just sit down and talk forever, but I guess time's up, and I'm just thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview with me. It's been great having you all on this call, and I think it's a new experience for you to be not only watching my interviews but also participate, and I'm really happy that you do. Thank you all, and have a great day. Looking forward to meeting you hopefully again soon in person. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Happy World Food Safety Day, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for watching this special edition of Industry Insights. And a special thanks, of course, to Mana, Ike, and Roger for participating in this interview. Thanks, and see you again soon. Bye.